And in the red corner.
Are you losing your mind, Slim? Like the rest?
I'm honestly losing my mind with there's a lot happening, right? But it's fallen in place as we kind of talked about. I'm kind of shocked how spot on we've all been the whole time. With that being said, this Bo Bichette deal, let them have him. Let them have him. We offer 7 years, $28 million, over $200 million, or $200 million on the nose. That's a great offer. And I think you hinted towards this on Twitter. That means we're willing to spend more. So the question becomes this, because I'm going to say it right now. I don't want us to get Bellinger. I'm kind of out on Suarez. I say run this back like I've always said from the very beginning. And then when the midseason comes, if we need to unload the prospects, and we do have the prospect arsenal, don't get in my mentions, tell me we don't got the prospects, because that's why this Phillies team's different than your grandpa's Phillies team. We can go make the big deal. So I'm still in.
Leave grandpa out of it.
And the only thing that I don't love is the extra year for
Realmuto.
Not for Realmuto, because we saw it happen with Schwarber. So, like Bones said, they both got it now.
Right.
So that's a little scary. But hey, that's the price of business right now. That's fine by me. I'm a little bit upset with Ranger Suarez, but that's later on, I think.
Yeah, so main takeaways, obviously, we don't need to be breaking any of this news. We're late to the party on this front, but Phil's lost out on Bo Bichette, right? I mean, an absolute ridiculous deal. I mean, 3 years, 126 by the Mets. I had a funny little feeling last night. I put on the socials that the Mets are going to come back into the we saw Cohen teasing us on Twitter with those Pope references, right? Like, they weren't going to let this go away easily. So we'll table the whole conversation about lockout and all that maybe towards the end of this, because we'll get into that. But these deals, like, it's like funny money deals, right? Like, none of these guys are worth these dollar amounts. So we're just competing in like a weird alternative universe, right? Because Phillies fans, did Bo Bichette play us like a fiddle? Most likely. That's most likely what just happened. But did you want to pay him $42 million for 3 years? No, you didn't. So what do you want?
And we should have sensed that. I was going back and forth. I said from the very beginning, he only checks 1 of 3 boxes for me, but that one box is huge, and you make room for those boxes, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to wake up the next day, be excited. But then after you find out that the in-person meeting was a Zoom meeting and it wasn't signed, you just then that's where I got upset with Bichette, and I'm ready to move on. I was absolutely ready to move on. So, and that's fine. Because let's really look at it like this as well.
Yeah.
He's coming off the injury. We saw players who were platoon type players, great defensively, right? Guys like Bryson Stott were starting. What's his name? Jimenez, a shortstop for the Blue Jays this past year, right?
Yeah.
Dudes that Bichette couldn't get back in the lineup, injury or not, right? And if we can have these above defensive players, and I'm talking about Bone, I'm talking about Stott, if Stott can be an average hitter, he's better. He's going to be better than Bichette come the playoffs all around, plain and simple. If Bone continues his approach, and maybe I know we're all praying. We're praying that he hits more. If he gets more slug, he's way better than Bichette at that spot. Especially for the price. I
tweeted this. Imagine being Alec Bohm. That guy's mental health has been through the absolute ringer. I mean, he's a cat. We've been joking about this for years. This guy is an absolute. He's got 20.
He's a dog. He's a dog at this point. He's an absolute dog. And that's the best. And here's the best part, because in other places, if this was, let's say, Bone didn't have all that drama, right?
Right.
You talked about the PR move selling us to JT. The Phillies would have had to come out and do some PR to Bohm, but he's went through it every year that it doesn't even matter anymore. You know,
he's like, don't bother.
His mental fortitude is going to be better this year, and we honestly saw it in the playoffs. And you know what else? We saw JT Realmuto. People are saying he's the second. Yeah, all right, he's the second high pay catcher in baseball. Now, whatever, that's fine. He does. We probably had to pay over. We gave him the extra year overpriced. We're right around market value. I would say probably $1 million under. If I would have signed him last season, I probably would have given him 2 years, 32. If I would have signed him in April, I would have given him an extra $1 million on each year. I probably would have if he would have signed in April. But I probably would have tried to only get that 2 years. He gets that 3 years at 15. 3 at 45 is the max you could have done. Go back in our old episodes. We said that's the max number you could have done. They did it. And to me, yeah, during the season, he's not the best offensive catcher. All right. He's not there to win us games. Okay. He's like a pitcher. One time, I remember I was a young kid. I was in it might have been Veterans Stadium, man. It might have been Veterans Stadium.
What year was it?
Brandon Duckworth. It was year we got Jim Thome. Yep, year we got Jim Thome. So it was the vet. And Brandon Duckworth, I was at a Q&A, and I was a kid. Right? And I asked Brandon Duckworth and Brett Myers. I said, Brandon and Brett, why don't you guys work on hitting? Right? And Brett Myers looked at Little Slim. He said, Little Slim, because we signed Jim Thome, okay? So we have Schwarber. Realmuto's regular season isn't there for the hitting, okay? It's not there. Last year, if he's hot, okay, maybe he can buy you some games here in the 4th, 5th spot here and there. That's fine. But even better, the stronger point there is he's a pro hitter still. We saw him hit like a champ in the playoffs against the best team in baseball, the team everyone's afraid of. Right. He had a hit in every game versus the Dodgers. He scored a run in every game besides one. So he can hit elite pitching is my point.
Well, and honestly, I kind of put both buckets of Realmuto and Bichette in the it is what it is category. I mean, it sucks. No one wants to hear it. I know everyone's going to hear run it back a million times. We joke about it, but I'm doing the quick math here. So we offered Bichette 7 years, 200. So that's about $28 million or so a year. So he got $14 more million a year from the Mets. What do you want to do? So what are we going to do there? So I'm going to say that. And with Realmuto, the alternative is: do you want to just have do you want to have a bottom 5 catcher, right? Or do you want to have a potentially top 10 catcher, right?
Right.
Because that's what Realmuto is. If Realmuto is a top 10 catcher in baseball next year, that's not crazy to think, right?
No, not at all.
But if we don't have Realmuto, we might have a bottom 5 catcher in baseball. And I get it. 3 years is more than you wanted. But the alternative is to have a lesser catcher. So really think about what you're complaining about before you complain about it. You can't sign all the guys. Especially when let's say this. If we sign Bo Bichette to a 3-year, 120, whatever it was, $26 million deal, I would have been like, what the hell is that? Right?
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy, man. I would not have been happy. And yeah, I'm happy I don't have to wake up with Bichette on the Phillies because, believe it or not, I'm telling you, I'm an honest man. I would have been sitting here saying it was a bad signing. I really would have. If you're in the group chats with me, you know I'm kind of soft about it. I'm talking to people, and that's honestly the truth. Because again, go back to those boxes, and we were trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right?
Yeah, I'm
at a price that was like, I don't even know.
And we look like a bunch of idiots. And I'll give you your kudos. You were probably the most sober about it. Look, like you just said, we're all getting excited about this. We all got excited about it, right? Everyone, and Spike Gaston was talking about this on the radio and on Twitter, and we're kind of having a little back and forth on this. It's true. All of this seems so calculated. It all seemed too good to be true. And I guarantee you, the Phillies beat writers and media feel like they were used on this. They all feel like they were used on this because there was a bunch of, a lot of really positive reporting going on out there. No one guaranteed anything, but this was definitely a scenario where there was a lot of pawns going on and we didn't sniff it out.
But we sniffed it out. We really did.
We sniffed it out.
Because honestly, what happened was we saw it. We're like, oh, this is good. I'm like, oh, the meeting's taking a week. Oh, and then what happened in between? Right. Bregman signs for a huge deal. And we're like, holy smokes.
Right.
It was Bichette and like some is, that's what, and then we said it was that night, our last episode, I guess it was.
Because when it first came out, everyone's knee-jerk reaction was, is this a power play for Realmuto, right? Are we doing this to kind of like show Realmuto that, hey, man, there's some other girls at the prom here that we can kind of talk to, right?
Right.
And then it's like, well, Then everyone's like, no, this is real. This is a real thing. This is a real interest. Then it has your joking. It's a Zoom meeting. Is he on his honeymoon? Like, what's going on? It all happened too quick. It didn't seem natural. It really didn't.
And if we go back to our goals, all right, now don't get me wrong, you aim high, whatever. Our
Right.
goals were to sign Schwarber and Realmuto.
Yeah.
And that happened. And then we've signed
True.
Brad Keller, who is on now Team USA. So I can't wait till he looks excellent there. Okay. Because that is a huge upgrade. We had Strom, who doesn't he doesn't have the velo and he doesn't have the stuff.
Right.
And now he's gone. He went down 3 years in a row. We had a Yano Kirkering who was making $900,000. In this league, we had a player in the biggest moment who only makes $900,000. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
they had Tyler Glass now, who's probably also he's a stud. They've been around the block. And with all that being said, I don't care if you think Dombrowski and Middleton are in my head, because we scored more runs than them in that series. We were right there.
And we got Johnny Hunter in the chat saying Brandon Duckworth, former Red Sox great. What's up, Johnny?
Yo, Johnny, what's up?
Yeah, guys.
I can't open the chat up anymore because my ADHD kicks in. I get lost in the chat and forget I'm on the show.
But we're coping. Let's be real. We're definitely coping depending on wherever you're at. But I like how you just centered us, Slim. You just centered us. You said going into the offseason, everyone, for the most part, consensus was we want Realmuto. We want our catcher back. We want Schwarber back. Well, we got that, right? The timing of everything kind of threw it off. But if you look at it from the 1,000-foot up, we got those two guys. And I'm going to remind the listeners what you just said at the top of the show. The Phillies just showed everyone their hand. They're willing to spend more. They just extended a $200 million offer to Bichette. So is there Bellinger out there? I think Bellinger is probably going to get $40 million a year now, right? Everybody's getting $40 million.
And let's go back to value. All right, Bellinger's going to have the pop, right? He's going to have the pop. But how much longer can he play center field?
Right.
And then our ace in the hole, if he comes through, really is Crawford.
Yeah.
If he ends up being good, like Victorino, good, we're a whole different team. We're a whole different team. And then going back to Bichette, he wasn't going to lead off for us or anything along those lines. I'm willing, if it doesn't seem like, I do try to keep Painter, but if it's Miller, Wood, and somebody else, I unload that for Marte or someone at the trade deadline. I'm not afraid to do that.
I don't hate that at all. Let me ask you this, and let me get your honest answer. When I tweeted last night, and I went live in my car at like 10 o'clock at night at Wawa getting gas, and I said that I think we're going to be now competing with the Mets, what did you think? Because I expected some negative pushback. JR, one of our favorite guys, he knows ball. He was immediately against that, didn't think it was possible. And I was getting a lot of side messages on that, thinking that wasn't even. So what did you think when I put that out there? Be honest.
I was letting it marinate,
Okay.
At that point, just sitting there, letting it marinate. And I kind of woke up and digested everything as it unfolded today.
Fair.
And it all makes sense because let's be frank. If you go back and look at the tweets, I misinterpret Cohen. I thought he was talking about Tucker still at that point with that Pope tweet.
Well, I guess we don't know, right? I guess we don't know what he was talking about for sure. Did you see on Twitter? This is funny. I made Alex Call. I believe Alex Call. He has, he's I believe he's affiliated with WIP. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize.
Yeah, he does a good job.
He does a good job. Does a great job.
Yeah.
He was tweeting about that he got a source last night that the Mets were back involved, and I kind of jokingly messed that. Did you see the times?
I did. It was pretty incredible.
How weird of a coincidence is that? I'm like,
funny.
damn, I can't even make this joke because
that was funny.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? I didn't even know what he was talking about when he first said that. But Alex, I'm just clowning around, brother.
It is funny because a week or so ago, it did seem like Bichette was going to be a done deal. It really did. More so than other times, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
I can't think of a collective egg on the face situation that more than ever for the Phillies have ever had, Phillies fans. Because I feel like 70% of the Phillies fan base were like, we're getting this guy. We're getting this guy. Everyone was going to be excited about it. This was the fresh coat of paint. This was the we're not running it back. Because right now, Slim, and I know you got your running back T-shirt.
Yeah,
at
my
home.
shirts would have been screwed.
We're running it back right now. This is running back.
100%. Run it back, and when you really look at the margins, because that's where the World Series is won and lost.
Yeah, right.
It was the relief pitching still for me. You know, it was still the relief pitching for me.
Yeah, and we got better. I mean, you alluded to it earlier. Our relief pitchers got better. Like I know Crossing Broad had that, always satire article.
We didn't get sexier. But and then when you bring back Realmuto with that staff, you're bringing back the consistency. You're bringing back the discipline, which is probably the hardest thing to find in some spots.
Right.
So, and he was able to leverage us big time. There's no doubt about it.
What's next, man? We have anything else in the chamber?
So the only thing that's next is to watch Crawford's development, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do we fit Miller? Right. I know everyone's excited about Andrew Painter. Andrew Painter is inevitable. I don't know the time frame. We know we've been slowly doing this, and that's because he is inevitable. Miller's a little bit different. Do we put him in now? What position does he play? And if not, what can we get for this dude? Because we got to do this now. And it may even mean doing it maybe instead of waiting till the end of June, July, or whatever it is, maybe doing a snake earlier, especially if spring training looks hot for some of these guys.
All right, so gun to your head. Do we make any other moves? Do we do a Eugenio Suarez? Do we do a Bellinger? Is there any other splash that's coming? Because remember what you just said in this stream. They already told us that they're willing to spend.
Any other signings? I say
or trade.
No. I think this is the team we're going to be riding with into spring training, into the season. And we're looking at the trade deadline market.
So we have Kaz in the chat saying here, if they want to excite the fan base, they would bring Miller up to third and trade Bohm, an outfield or starting pitcher. Yeah, I mean, listen, out of spring, that would be tough, right? Just from a precedent standpoint, but that would be exciting. Slim, I think it was either you or Bones who mentioned that the likeliest path to the roster right now for Miller is someone struggling, right? And then he slides in.
Right. And I don't know. Like, we have this outfield thing. Let's see what we're going to have to find out what it looks like. They're going to go with Kemp. A little bit of platoon situations out there with these dudes. So, yeah, this is the team, and they're going to let these young guys try to play consistently. And that was the argument they made the last 2 years for not bringing them up, So you're going to get consistent Crawford. You're going to get consistent-ish Kemp. Maybe a couple Racoñas if he ends up making the roster. And then when Miller comes up, it's going to be consistent. So that's the good thing with this brought up situation for Miller. Is it going to be second base, third base, shortstop, outfield? God, I don't know.
We don't know yet.
And you can't trade Bohm right now. He's too good for us.
I mean, and his return isn't going to be anything, right? I mean, 1 year, $10.5 million. He's a tough one to trade because you're at the point right now. What are you getting in return? Right?
Hey, I want to say something. I had a lot of people, and it makes sense. I get it. Only one person made the argument. Camissa, he actually was able to make the argument with numbers, but everybody was easily sliding Stott over to third base as if his offensive output wouldn't matter there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we sure, and. If he's average, then yes. But that's still wait to be seen, hitting-wise, from this dude consistently.
Right.
So long story short, you people who thought it was easy signs moving Stott to third base, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, and then but overall, so the biggest challenge for us, right, is because we're all in on the Phils, and we're always going to err on the side of optimism to a certain extent, right? Like because regardless of the product we're watching, right, we're going to be critical of it. But I think it would be disingenuous for us to not admit that the overall approval rating right now of the front office is not high.
No, absolutely not. Because what the chicks love the long ball. All right. And most of you guys are watching the game like the chicks watch it. And that's what Bichette is, right? Bichette's the guy you put behind Harper and Schwarber. You have a little anchor. You can sell the tickets. And I even said, I don't think he's even worth, like, I don't know, like maybe in Philly, but I don't know. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think he's a superstar.
He struck gold with that deal. We got another question here in the chat here from 67 Dolly. Are they going to re-sign Bohm? Highly unlikely, brother. He's going into his final year of free agency. Excuse me. Next year, he's a free agent, and I don't see home here. What do you think?
Let's see what the playoffs look like. What if he's in the playoffs? He has a great playoffs. He's coming off his strongest playoff. He's like I said, he went through the struggles to understand what the MLB season's like. I don't hate the idea, but I do think it's an uphill battle. So, but if he produces this year, it's a contract year.
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah.
How about this? How about we get a motivated Bohm who makes that a harder decision? That could happen. And I like that idea a lot better than I like moving him for a wannabe future Realmuto type, like Davies out in Pittsburgh or one of these Jeffries out in Minnesota. Yeah. I never liked any of that.
Yeah, we got a motivated Bohm and a motivated Luzardo this year. So that's two things to kind of keep an eye on. We got Shane in the chat saying, I still believe the Bohm we saw before he got hurt 2 seasons ago is still there. Listen, Bohm is the most disrespected player ever, probably in Phillies history. And we've contributed to that, let's be honest. But I don't know, man. He's had a lot of time to show us that he's got some more pop, and it hasn't shown.
True, and it's funny, going back to Dylan Cease, every time these players get signed, we can't believe the money. So that just tells you right then and there, this isn't the route to go.
Right.
And it's hard because, the Dodgers spend so much and they do win, but like the rest of us, like it's a different game. They're playing a different game, the Dodgers, and that's to be fair. You're right. Yeah. You do have the ownership, the tip of the hat. Tip of the cap for like trying to be in these realms because it's not all the same. It's just not.
How do you equate this? Because there's the cheap comparison on the Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers is the Kevin Durant to the Warriors, right? But I think where the disconnect in that is the Tucker was just a pure I got to take this deal for the money deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Durant would have gotten a lot of money regardless.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's not quite the same thing.
And going back, you brought up our boy JR again. He was bringing up that some of the people are saying that he's a Rendon type, that he doesn't love baseball as much as you would think. So that's also what I'm praying for. But I do think the Dodgers are an elite organization that makes them attractive. It just does.
Yeah. Back-to-back champs.
Right. I mean, Joe Kelly talks about he's only in retirement because the Dodgers don't. He said he could play for multiple teams, but he only wants to play for the Dodgers, and they just don't need him.
Right. And then
I think we got to realize a little bit more how the interpersonal relationships work when it comes to these guys staying and going.
Slim, you can see these questions popping up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So you want to take a stab at that one? I got another good one here. Are the Phils better than the Braves or the Mets? I really don't think so. From Kaz.
Oh, get out of here with the pitching. It's not even close. Not even close. Not even close. We had 3 times the pitching the Braves and the Mets have. The Mets lost their closer. And then people were like, the Mets lost their closer. We were able to trade Tai and get a dominant closer last year. We're going to be able, if needed to, get something later on in the middle of this year. Our starting pitching's awesome. Wheeler's ahead of schedule. Sanchez, Cy Young. Luzardo could be in a Cy Young conversation. We just need to be consistent and healthy. And if you watch the yearbook that just came out, that Wheeler opens the series up like that, and that's all it's about. It's just being about consistent and healthy and hopefully hitting at the right time.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because the Braves battled a ton of injuries last year, so they got that bounce back vibe for them, and then their bullpen's nasty. So we'll see. I think our division's going to be tough. I think it's not going to be like last year, where what do we have, like a 14-game lead when it was all said and done? It's not going to be like that.
I got either the Braves or the Mets coming in the basement. I don't know which one, but one of those teams.
Really? Okay,
Yeah, the basement.
So you think
I meant to say
Marlins,
fourth.
Marlins will okay. All right.
The Nationals, and then the Marlins are going to finish above one of these teams.
Okay.
The Marlins,
right.
yeah. I forgot about the Nationals. I forgot the clock.
Nola bounce back question in the chat. Listen, I think if we're defining bounce back as an improvement from last year, yes, because I mean, the last year was rough, right? So I think we're going to get a better Aaron Nola.
I think for 100%. I don't think it's going to be close. I think he's going to return to being pretty good. And then again, we're going to be a team that's going to be in the playoffs. Hopefully we get playoff Nola. We had this conversation leading up. The same exact thing again this year. It's going to be the same conversation, and hopefully he shows up.
So you alluded to this, and we'll get to, and thanks, Kaz. I completely agree, brother. Yeah, I mean the Braves, they're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back.
The Braves are known for wheeling and dealing these international players, and you just saw the Edgar Renteria. Was that his name?
Yes.
Devo. He just signed with us.
No, Francisco
Renteria.
Yeah.
He just signed with the Phillies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's typically a player that the Braves would have gotten. I think the Braves I got to see what the new manager does, but I don't think the Braves as an organization, I think are a tier above organization like the Cardinals, two old school organizations that just aren't it in the here in the 21st century anymore, baby.
So let's talk about the messaging a little bit more on the Realmuto stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's too obvious to not address. Do you think they go pure PR, buttoned up, we were going to do this all along? Or do you think there's any Dombrowski being a little bit more honest like he has been historically and say, like, look, we love the player, but if we had a chance at Bichette, we might have gone that direction? Because I'm not to cut you up, I don't put that completely out of bounds for Dombrowski.
All right, so what do you think Dombrowski would say if it's not just the sell job?
So Dombrowski, he might get a little more buttoned up after the whole Bryce Harper elite stuff.
Okay,
but
right.
He's been historically in the past 2-3 years very honest, meaning like he'll bring you in on the fact that this is a business and we're looking at other players.
Yeah, one point, and my question is, what would Dombrowski even say though? Like, what's the other point to even for him to like try to sell? What would be the inside baseball? He would like, I don't know. Like I said, I would be shocked. Is my answer.
The inside baseball answer would be that in the beginning of offseason, they were basically saying our number one priorities are bring our catcher back and Schwarber. And then the frustration with the front office and JT and probably vice versa became apparent. Like, right? Like I know he mentioned at one point that like we're trying to get him, but we're not making any progress right now. Dombrowski said that. So that's about as obvious of a, hey, this isn't working. So what I could see Dombrowski saying something like, yes, we shifted our focus away from JT at one point when the Bo Bichette opportunity came. And then when that opportunity closed, we shift our focus back to JT, which is probably the honest thing. But will he say that is what I'm wondering.
I think no.
Okay.
I say he was working on both of them the whole time. And I think he may give us, I'm hoping, it probably won't happen, but I'm hoping he gives us a wink about, again, the middle of this season. Because let's be honest, are we not hosting the All-Star game?
We are, yeah.
What would drive ridiculous revenue besides a blockbuster deal right when we're the epicenter of baseball and, honestly, America's pastime at that moment for the birthday, So that's really what I see happening. I really do. Is it Marte or someone else? I don't know. But the target list, we got to start crafting, and it can be long.
Right. So you're saying like a blockbuster trade around that time.
Right around that time.
Yeah. Which no one wants to hear. They want now.
When they're there having the time of their lives, right?
Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
So I can tell you with my theory on the messaging of the organization is going to be, if we don't make any other moves, right? So if we go pure, run it back, plus Garcia, it's all going to be about the youth movement. That's going to be the messaging. It's going to be, guys, we have a top 5 prospect pitcher. We have a top whatever he is. He's a top probably 10 shortstop prospect right now. So we have all of this youth talent coming up. We're gonna start kind of preparing for that. That's going to be the messaging since we didn't nail on the big guys.
Yeah, 100%, as it should be.
Right.
As it should be, you know? And that's what was the heart at the running back remix.
Right.
Yeah, anything else? Save we got Ranger, but save that for when we get Bones up in here.
Yeah, we can save the Ranger for Bones. You want to talk a little bit about
Do we see one,
yeah.
you know what else could happen? And this goes to maybe a little teaser.
Yeah.
Do they go back to working with now that there's nothing else to work on? If they sign, they don't want Suarez, the guy, they're not going to get Bellinger. They feel like there's nothing else to work on. Now they can work on Luzardo, correct?
A Luzardo extension would be lovely.
Right. So how would that settle a little bit the PR, buy us time for, like I said, maybe something a little bit later on? Good. Where do you put that percent right now? That deal getting done.
Oh man, we got to trade. So wait, say that again, Slim. I'm sorry because we got a trade proposition in the chat, and I want to answer your question first, and then I'll go to that.
I know once you're in your last year, you want to get to the end, the finish line, but with his back history, that they can dangle that over his head, and with nothing else happening in the free agency market,
right? Could
we see Dombrowski and Middleton reach out to Luzardo and try to get those negotiations started a little bit early?
So the answer to that is absolutely. And this is how you look at it. So you have Ranger Suarez, who just signed a 5-year, $26 million per year, right?
Yes, sir.
So if Luzardo was a free agent right now, at a minimum, that's where the conversation starts for him. And it would actually probably be more for his age and his stuff. So let's just say if the Phillies can give him a Ranger Suarez deal, can we get him for 4 years, 100? Can we get him for 5 years, 130? Can we give him a Ranger Suarez deal right now? Because if he's a free agent, that might be 30 million, 32 million, right? We saw what happened. Dylan Cease, what was Cease, 35?
Would you give him that 200 million 7 years for Bichette? Just give it to him right now.
Bichette or Luzardo?
Give it to Luzardo. The offer the Phillies theoretically had for Bichette, right? It was 7 years, 200 million.
Years. And what's he, 28?
He's 28. It's a little long. Yeah, it's a little longer than 2 years.
That's actually, let me double check that. That's actually not bad if he's 28. He is 28. So would I give him a 7-year
with a bad back?
That's not where I'm starting the conversation, right? I don't think I would do that. I think we got to learn our lesson with the Nola one. You got to learn your lesson with the Nola one.
I'm just inclined because it's only getting higher and higher. If we get this, if it gets into the summertime, we're talking over 200 million, whatever.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's the beauty of it. And we got a question here from the chat. I'm not even going to try to say your name. Chow Boy Boy. Send Bohm, Stott, and Painter to Cardinals for Brendan Donovan. Hell no.
I can't. No way. No way. Yo, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
How could you do that? No way. And like I said, I think there's something bad in the water down in St. Louis. That organization they seem like they got infected with like cheapness or something. I don't see any buzz with that team anymore. And Painter, like I said, he's inevitable. This guy's going to be good.
You going to do some quick, just like what's going on? Is there going to be a lockout talk?
The lockout thing's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Do you really want to have a depressing conversation on a Friday night?
No. Do you want to just get to your happy hour?
Yeah, let's get to the happy hour. We'll leave all the – because actually, if we start lockout, now we're talking AI and biomechanics and the Dodgers having who knows what, okay? It's not looking good.
So in summary, first of all, if you are new here, guys, please hit that subscribe button over on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitter, wherever you are watching. It helps. We are the Red Corner. We do this all year long. So takeaway, Phillies fans, I know there's hysteria. I know there's a lot of people jumping off I'm not even going to say bandwagon to disrespect you, but jumping off the wagon. Just we got the 2 guys that we wanted coming into the offseason, so be grateful for that. And maybe we got some more stuff coming because we show that we're willing to spend.
That's we got a lot. You're going to see a lot of new ordinary names. So it's kind of, here's my analogy. Who remembers the night shift for the Sixers back in the day when they had Thaddeus Young, Lou Williams, and I'm blanking on the third person. They used to come off the bench and be pretty well. They were all young guys at the time.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to seem like with Crawford, Kemp, Raconez, and these other guys. Maybe Painter a little bit later, Miller a little bit later-ish, right? They're all going to be picking their spots, and they're all going to have their weeks here and there.
Absolutely. And so we got a
follow-up comment. And it's going to feel fresh.
It's going to feel fresh. It's going to feel fresh. The follow-up comment here just pointing out Painter's ERA, AAA. Brother, he just came off Tommy John, and I hear you, but this would be the worst time to sell low on him. You're not going to sell low on Painter right now. Look at his stuff. Look at his metrics. It's all elite. Yes, he struggled last year, and that wasn't pretty.
Cowboy boy, you had to be with us a few weeks ago. We bought the Painter baseball card, right?
Yeah.
We were tracking the baseball card number since last year. They were expensive. They went down, and we went out and we're buying the baseball card.
We're buying the baseball card. All right, guys, we will enjoy your weekend. We'll be live Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Live Sunday night, 7 o'clock. We'll see you soon.
And it's the red